afternoon and welcome to the October 31st meeting of the Rotary Club of Louisville. My name is Lori Flannery. I'm the president and CEO of New Directions. I'm the president of the club this year, and I'm a Paul Harris Fellow. So welcome today. I want to remind everybody, if you have a device with you, if you would please silence it or turn it off. And I know most of you aren't going to get that close to me, but whoever's involved in the program today, as you come up to the podium, I do not want you to be alarmed. I appear to have small bats and spiders hanging from my earlobes, but that's just my nod to Halloween today. And I also just want to give a shout out to some of my others who are doing the same thing. I had a couple people say, I should have dressed up. It's so much fun, right? Okay. Well, providing our invocation today is Gil Holland, community developer and film producer.
All right, as we thank the folks who grew the food, we're gathered around today, and the folks serving, let's think about how we can best put it to use serving our community in truth, fairness, building goodwill, bettering friendships, and striving for positive impact for all around. And then I just wanted to read a prayer from the Sioux Chief Yellow Hawk. O great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the winds, and whose breath gives life to all the world, hear me. I come before you, one of your children. I am small and weak. I need your strength and wisdom. Let me walk in beauty and make my eyes ever behold the red and purple sunset. Make my hands respect the things you have made, my ears sharp to hear your voice. Make me wise so that I may know the things you have taught me. Taught my people the lesson you have hidden in every leaf and rock. I seek strength not to be superior to my brothers, but to be able to fight my greatest enemy, myself. Make me ever ready to come to you with clean hands and straight eyes, so when life fades as a fading sunset, my spirit may come to you without shame.
Thank you, Gil. And now for the pledge and the four-way test, we have Karen Morrison. Karen is the president and CEO of Gilda's Club Kentuckiana, chair of the Awards and Recognition Committee, and also the Speech Contest Committee, and co-chair of the International Service Committee.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now would you join me in the four-way test? Things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, now is the time that Rotarians who have guests with them, if you will please come to this microphone to my right, your left. Please line up there if you have a guest today. State your name, Rotarians, first, then the name of your guest, listing any title or affiliation that you want to share. And guests, when you hear your name, if you will please stand briefly so that the club can see who you are, and we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
President Lori, Sharon LaRue, Kentucky Foundation for Women, and I brought Leah Wright. She's our brand new grants manager, so please welcome her to our room.
Welcome.
I'm Jean West, past president of the club, and my guest today is Lee Runyon, who is the son of Keith Runyon and Mimi Sweets Runyon. Now, I am told to tell you that Mimi's father, Sweets, was a Rotarian here for 45, 50 years, so you may know him. But anyway, Lee is with Vessel Solutions at Port Collins, Colorado. So welcome.
Hi, President Lori. My name is Greg Braun. My costume, by the way, I'm a serial killer because I blend right in. My guest is Brandon Largent. Brandon is with First Financial Bank, and I've been working on him for about 3 years to get him to come in. He's finally coming. I think we're going to close the deal, and First Financial will be joining our club. So say hello to Brandon.
Welcome.
President Lori, Kristen Boone, and my guest is Camille Wright. Camille is a recent graduate of the University of Louisville and has been with PNC as an analyst in institutional asset management with us for about 8 months now. So we're excited to have you. Welcome.
Welcome.
And go Cards, right? Vernon Foster, Assistant Dean of the College of Business. I'm proud to have Dr. Sergey Anakin with us. He is the Program Director for the Innovation MBA, the two-time world champion in business plan competition, and is also the Director of the Ford Center for Entrepreneurship. Please welcome.
I'm Dee Chuan, President of Louisville Beauty Academy, Louisville Institute of Technology. My guest today is Kentucky State Senate Representative Daniel Grossberg. He was part of the effort that we have the Senate Bill 14 push to be law in March. And as of 3 weeks ago, because of that effort, we have multi-language licensing exam for the beauty industry across the state. It's one of the first, I would say, so thank you.
Good afternoon, President Lori. I want to introduce the fabulous Haley Aldridge. She is our development manager at the Kentucky Humane Society.
Welcome. I do have my own special guest here today, Gina Johnson. Gina is an executive at New Directions.
President Lori.
Welcome. Yes, you have something?
I do. We had Rotarians scheduled to introduce some of our guests today, but I don't think they've made it yet, so I will do my best. We have Megan Brown, who is with Louisville Metro Sewer District Emergency Prep and Ops Resiliency. Megan, would you stand up, please? Nick Mattingly is here with Switcher. Welcome, Nick.
Welcome.
We have Michael Wolf, who I'm sorry to say I don't have the information on who you're with, but I understand you were formerly involved with Rotary in Southern Indiana, so welcome back to Rotary.
Welcome.
And I have also Mike Nagel, I hope I said that right. Nagel, sorry, Mike Nagel with Argo Networks, Inc. Welcome, Mike.
Yes, welcome.
Are any of the other guests that registered that haven't been introduced yet here? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jalene. Thank you all to Rotarians for bringing your guests here today, and thank you guests for being here. I will say that when you hear me ring the bell again, that will mean this meeting is adjourned. And what we ask of our guests is that they will make their way to the What is Rotary table. It's in the corner over here, and there's a sign on the table that says What is Rotary. You can't miss it. Jay Mallory will be there. Jay, if you don't mind to raise your hand. He will be there to spend just a few minutes giving you an overview about what our club and what Rotary is all about. Well, we have quite a few Rotarians in the spotlight this week, so I'm just going to start going down this list. We have 2 member organizations that have teamed up to further the good business movement in Kentucky by teaching students the importance of good business practices. Scott Collins, Ben Smock, and Stephanie Kelly with corporate member Canopy, and Jennifer Helgeson with Junior Achievements cut the ribbon on a new Junior Achievements, or JA, BizTown company recently. On hand to celebrate were Canopy board members and Rotarians Kent Euler and Brian Schneider, as well as Rotarian Matt Riggle with LPX Group. So congratulations to them. We also say congratulations to Nashon Tribune on the grand opening and ribbon cutting of the new Melanair Marketplace in the Mall St. Matthews. This is going to be open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during mall hours from now and through the entire week of December 16th and 20th, because of course holiday season is upon us. Now you have another place where you can shop and support a fellow Rotarian. Congratulations also to corporate member Goodwill Industries of Kentucky and its CEO Amy Luttrell on the recent ribbon cutting of the new SPOT, it's called The Spot, Young Adult Opportunity Center. The center is now open to young adults ages 16 to 24 who have barriers to employment and self-sufficiency, created by justice involvement, homelessness, abuse, any and all of those things sometimes, and then other challenges. We want to congratulate Devon Holt. He was inducted into the Public Relations Society of the American Bluegrass Chapter Hall of Fame. He'll be a speaker here in November. We're all looking forward to that. Rotarian Tawana Bain will be the featured speaker at the LIBA, which is Louisville Independent Business Alliance, Elevate Biz Speaker Series on November 13th at noon at the Louisville Water Tower. So catch that if you can. Our own Leslie Smart recently spoke at the Prospect Goshen Rotary Club. So thank you, Leslie, for representing one local club to the other. We want to congratulate Denise Sears and Demetrius Wingate on the launch of the SOS Global Student Ambassador Program. We'll have to hear more about that as it gets moving. Congratulations to Phil Kester and the Waterfront Botanical Gardens. I was just there this week. It just continues to get more and more beautiful. We're congratulating them on their 5-year anniversary and a $5 million new funding that will accelerate the next phase of its master plan. And finally, we want to have congratulations go to Steve Rumworth and his wife Kathleen, who were honored with the 2024 Volunteer Service Award at the Kentucky Refugee Ministries Global Gourmet event recently. So let's give a shout out to these Rotarians. Thank you all for making us look so good. Of course, you know we have our incentive program going on right now. It's going on from October 1st through March 31st. We're going to have monthly prizes that are of the smaller nature, but then the grand prize will be drawn in early April. And that grand prize is a Rotary paid trip for a Rotarian to attend Rotary International Convention, which will be held in June in Calgary in Alberta, Canada. So I know you all are competitive because you are Rotarians, competitive in the good way, but I'm just reminding you because it is a new thing and it'll be gone before you know it. You know that 6 months will go quick. We're trying to get people to keep up with their points every month, and so if you need a form, you can get that from Delene or Tracy. I believe that there's a link to the form in Sparks. Yes. And if you need a paper copy, just let us know. I'm kind of a paper person myself. But some of the activities that are on there that you can get points for are attending a social activity, like our upcoming holiday party, which is also our annual meeting, and that's going to be December 4th. Joining our Rotary member group on Facebook and or LinkedIn, posting about today's meeting or another Rotary event or service project on social media, and taking the time to tag our club when you do so, or donating a nice prize for the monthly drawing. So, let's get going on this. I can't wait to see who wins. I'm reminding you to please review service opportunities listed in this week's Sparks newsletter and volunteer if you can, because of course you also get points for that. And also it's just a good thing to do. It's so Rotary. Now I'd like to invite to the podium Jay Mallory, EVP of Marketing and Business Development at Image Quest, Chair of the Membership Development and Engagement Committee, and Paul Harris Fellow to induct 2 members.
Would Lyndon Pryor, Karen Morrison, Gary Cobbs, and Ken Savaji join me? Please. So fellow Rotarians, we seek to grow our membership so that we may not only increase our usefulness and influence as a club, but also extend the spirit of Rotary throughout the community. Today, it's my honor to induct 2 new members. You've been elected to membership in this club because we believe you to be a worthy representative of your calling and to possess qualities that will permit you to exemplify in your public, business, social, and private life the true spirit of Rotary. You've been admitted not only to the 13th largest club in the world, but to a global organization of over 46,000 clubs, where you are also welcome at any time. Rotary membership adds value to those who engage, whether by attending meetings and events, participating in service projects, or sharing your knowledge and talents as we carry out the principles of Rotary in the community. We would now formally induct you as a member of the Rotary Club of Woodland. Turn it over to Karen and Ken here. We're going to do some introductions. So take it away.
Okay. Well, thank you. I can't tell you how many times I've been startled by that hand, but I love the spirit of the costumes. Lyndon Pryor To my left here is the president and CEO of the Louisville Urban League, a historic civil rights organization which is part of the National Urban League movement. He leads a team who are working to transform Louisville into a more equitable community for Black people and other marginalized populations through very intentional work in jobs, justice, education, health, housing, and Black business. Prior to his current role, Lyndon served 8 years with the organization in various capacities, including as the Chief Engagement Officer, where he helped to spearhead special projects like A Path Forward for Louisville. He also created and led the League's community health program, It Starts With Me, and helped to build and grow Louisville's network of community health workers. Before arriving in Louisville, Lyndon was a student development specialist at Texas A&M University. He received his BS in political science from Texas A&M and his master's in education and human development from George Washington University. He is a husband, a father, and an avid believer in the potential of all. I've had the pleasure of working with Lyndon over the last 6 years as a member of our board of directors at Gilda's Club, and I'm thrilled to have him join this club today. Excellent.
Gary Cobbs is the Chief Executive Officer of the YMCA of Greater Louisville. Great YMCA. His career began at the YMCA of Middle Tennessee, where he held various leadership positions, culminating as a Senior Vice President. In 2013, he became CEO of the YMCA of Greater Montgomery in Alabama, where he oversaw 18 YMCA properties, including 2 outdoor camp facilities throughout the Middle Alabama region. He's also served on numerous boards and committees, including Baptist East Hospital, Montgomery Area Chamber of Commerce, Leadership Alabama Regional Board, and the Central Alabama Sports Commission. In addition, Gary served on the YMCA USA National Board. During the pandemic, Gary partnered with community stakeholders to develop a $100 million YMCA community recreation and marketplace project. He's led efforts to secure $11.2 million in contributed funds and adopted a strategic plan focused on expanding memberships and programs, youth development, philanthropy, and leadership development. Gary's been a Rotarian for over 20 years and was the former chair of the Laverne, Tennessee Rotary Club. Recently, he served on the board and as the International Committee Chair for the Montgomery Noon Rotary Club, and he's a Paul Harris Fellow +2.
Nothing better than inducting new members into our club. We want to welcome you, Lyndon and Gary. Thank you so much for what you're doing for our community and for being a part of the Rotary Club of Louisville. Now I would like to invite to the podium Alyssa Gray, President and CEO of the Kentucky Humane Society, Board Director and Chair of the Lifeline Committee, to share a couple of committee updates.
Thank you, President Lori. Good afternoon, everyone. I am thrilled to share some things that are going on with the Lifeline Committee. I'll be honest, they're hard to keep up with. They always have something great going on. So we made a little video. I'm not super talented in video making, but the pictures will tell it all. So the Lifeline Committee, we are engaged through service by providing financial support or hands-on action and volunteerism throughout the community and with other nonprofits. So a few projects that we have always going on and would love to invite you to be a part of. The Recenter Ministries is probably one that you've heard of. So we serve dinner every fourth Wednesday of the month from 5:30 to 6:30 at the Recenter Ministries to men recovering from addiction. And David Snyder, I think, is here with a sign-up sheet, and we'd love to have more people. That is how I got first involved with the Lifeline Committee. It's just a great way to meet fellow Rotarians, especially if you're new Rotarian. So please join us with that. The first hour of grief is an incredible program that we are sponsoring so that children that have gone through or have witnessed a death from gun violence have free counseling. So they have 3 free sessions with a counselor and other ways of support, and we are able to fund that program. And that is happening always, continuing. Recently, Ginger Wallace has been in charge of getting the Ballard Park renovation in Smoketown. So we have sponsored the water fountain and water filling station. So there is water there at all times, and that is in progress, and it looks amazing. There's some photos on here of before and plans for the future. One of my favorite parts of the Lifeline Committee, I know Delene is very active in this, and Rick and Mary Ellen Harned as well, is the Kentucky Refugees Ministry family. So every year we sponsor a family that comes from somewhere, in distress throughout the world. So this year we have a family of 8, the Haj Ali family. There's a mom and then 7 children, 1 adult female. And this family, they lost their husband at the beginning of this year, freak accident, but they have come to Louisville, and we try to set them up for success by getting their house ready, providing food, first meal, stocking their fridge, and then continually staying engaged with them. So I know they've been to the zoo, they got to go to Lisa's farm and just have a great day with the family, and I think they told Larry Sloan that it was their best day since they lost their father. So very impactful. We were teaching them, English language and just taking them throughout the community. They've been to one of the soccer games, and I think, Delene, you took them to Boo the Zoo. So please, if you're interested in getting involved by just visiting them, bringing them, snacks, cookies, or practicing English with them, please let us know. It's extremely rewarding. And then upcoming projects we will definitely have a Habitat for Humanity house build in the spring, so we will keep you updated in Sparks with that. And then Repair Fair with New Directions. We will be cleaning up homes in underserved areas. We'll probably have 2 dates in the next fall and then spring as well. And then one thing special to my heart, we do equine assisted learning each year at our equine facility, Willow Hope Farm. Last year we had the Special Victims Unit, the LMPD, the team of 12 come out, and it's a day for them just to get out of the office and work on compassion fatigue, team building, just things that they don't get to do every day because they're in a very high stress environment. So we have decided to partner with another nonprofit that's impacted by gun violence and are talking through who that will be, since that's one of our key initiatives. We're sponsoring the Louisville Sustainability Council Summit on November 8th. And then we will also be bringing back quarterly information sessions and tours for what we are calling Thriving Well Through Life. So that will be discussion around retirement and how to live a healthy lifestyle as we age. Our next meeting is November 21st at 11 o'clock here. We'd love to have you if you're interested, or please come by and volunteer with one of our projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. Thanks for all the service. I know it was hard taking over from the perennial Larry Sloan right there, but he's still involved, and you're doing a bang-up job. I keep hearing everybody rave about how the committee is still doing just as well as when Larry was in charge. So thank you for all you do. We've got strong Rotarians everywhere, and thank you to Larry for continuing to provide your assistance. We are going to be doing more frequent updates on their committees because as involved as people are in their own committees, a lot of times they don't really know what's going on in other committees, and we want to make sure that everybody knows what you can be proud of and what you can talk about when people say, well, what do you want to do anyway at Rotary? I don't completely understand. It'll give you a little bit more ammunition in those discussions and maybe some of your recruitment efforts. If there is a specific committee that you don't necessarily want to be on, but you want to learn more about, please let Delene know and she can move you up in the queue for the reports that we're going to be providing you all at these Thursday lunch meetings. Now I would like to invite to the podium Kristen Boone. She's the Market Management Director for Kentucky and Tennessee at PNC Institutional Asset Management Group. She's a club director and vice chair of the Public Image Committee. Kristen is going to introduce today's speaker.
First, I want to welcome our new members. Both Linda and Gary are incredible additions to this club. I know that as I've gotten the chance to know both of you all, you have begun to teach me and continue to teach me every day. And so thank you for what we do in our community. A good friend of mine, Soozie Eastman, is the founder and president of 502 Film and the film commissioner for Louisville, Kentucky. Since earning her master's in producing for TV and film at Chapman University, she has produced and directed documentaries and short films, taught university-level courses in pre-production, and was director of programs for the Humanitas Prize, where she ran their annual judging season and award show honoring writers in television and film. While there, she also created the multi-studio television pilot program for emerging and underrepresented writers, New Voices of Humanitas. After working in Los Angeles for a decade plus, she temporarily returned to her hometown of Louisville to shoot her first feature film and take advantage of Kentucky's film tax incentives. Through her locally crewed production and previous tenure as executive director of the Louisville Film Society, which included producing the Flyover Film Festival, Soozie created deep relationships within the creative community and has no plans to leave. We're really glad to hear that. In 2019, she released her most recent feature documentary, Overload, America's Toxic Love Story. She continues to work alongside the 502 Film Team, the local creative community, Metro Louisville, and Louisville Tourism to further the efforts of building Kentucky's film industry and infrastructure. Welcome, Soozie.
Thank you all so much, and thank you all so much for inviting me back. The last time I was here, I was explaining a little bit more about my personal journey of being a filmmaker who's from Louisville and how the road led me back here to our beautiful city. But today I want to share a little bit more with you about the economic impact and on the industry growth we have here. So I will go ahead and get this started. Oh yeah, I forgot. I will not and beep, beep. So I know many of us, as we drive around town, we've all noticed an uptick. You might see trucks that are out there parked somewhere where there might be a film shooting. You might see news clips that are highlighting some of the films that have been taking place here. Maybe some of you all have been background actors in some of the films. I know some of the films that shot here last year actually had some scenes that had 250 background actors. So there have been a lot of people that stop me and they say, oh, I got to be in a film. And that's another really exciting part of this, right? It's like, it's not just the finance, it's not just the arts and culture, but sometimes it's fun when they're just like, my dad is a retiree and he got to be behind the scenes on something. So it's impacting us in so many different ways. And here is why. So when people ask, why are films coming to Kentucky? Why are films shooting in Louisville, Kentucky? Well, it's because we have one of the top in-class film tax incentives in the country. I'll explain a little bit about our film tax incentive without getting too deep in the weeds. This is like my favorite thing to talk about, but sometimes I can get a little nerdy or a little too deep on it. So I'll try to keep it up here, and then when we have questions in a little bit, if anybody needs any more explanation of anything, I'd be happy to share that with you. So from a financial standpoint, the film tax incentive works like many of our different economic incentives that we have here in the state for starting businesses. When we're trying to attract films here, what the incentive is 30% on any qualified spends. So if a production is coming to town and they're going to spend $10 million in our state, they will be getting a check back for roughly $3 million. That is an incredibly lucrative incentive. In order to kind of toss a little carrot out there to hire local crew, it actually increases to 35% when they're hiring from our local network of creatives within the community. We have an incredibly low spend. So what that means is the minimum spend is $250,000 in our state if you're an out-of-state company, and it is only $125,000 if you are a Kentucky-based parent company. When you are shooting a documentary, it becomes much less, $20,000 for out-of-state, $10,000 for in-state. We also have one of the easiest incentive programs to navigate. Our Cabinet for Economic Development is incredible, and they run our incentive program very, very efficiently and are wonderful spokespeople for our incentive at the state level. Now, what does that translate into? You can see all of these stats, but what does that actually mean when it comes to the dollars? So you can see in 2022, which is when this most recent incentive came to be, in 2022, that was 58 projects with a combined budget of around $158 million. So that's not a hobby, that's an industry. And you can see the growth because in 2023, that was 61 projects and $182 million. If I can also share that 2023 was a year where we had a major strike in the film industry, and we still managed to keep going. In fact, one of the films that was shooting here in Louisville got the first waiver from the Screen Actors Guild to be able to continue production. So while the coasts were at a halt, because we are an indie darling state where these productions are between $2 to $10 million for the most part, we kept the machine running. We kept the dollars coming into our community, and most importantly, we kept our crew and our vendors working and making a living. In 2024, we're only in October right now. So far, we're at 68 projects with $184 million worth of budgets. And just about an hour and a half ago, there were an additional 5 projects passed with a cumulative budget of $16 million. So those are some great dollars for the community. Now, dollars speak, and we know that that gets the attention of politicians and of individuals within our community. But what is also great about that is with the growth of an industry comes a lot of growth in different areas. And so we have new organizations that are being founded, such as the Women in Film organization. We have the Hyphen Film Center that is showing a lot of films, especially by underrepresented populations. And we are having a growth in our local community. When you see that sign of a working crew, those are individuals that are able to stay here in Louisville working and going home to their families and to their home at the end of the night, which is very exciting because for a long time, many people would have to look for jobs in Nashville or in Atlanta, stay down there or even move away. And now we're finding that that's no longer the case. Additionally, when it says celebrity sightings, it's not just about seeing them and grabbing that selfie. What we've noticed from the celebrity sightings is a lot of celebs are really loving our community. They're going to Fleur de Fleet, they're going to the drag brunch at Lemieux, they're taking photos, they're talking about how much they love the culture of our community. And when they're doing so, for instance, there was one mom and pop shop that Ethan Hawke went to, and their previous social media likes were just around 5 or 10 per post. Well, Ethan shot a selfie while he was in there and said, oh my gosh, I love this place. And they got 13,000 likes on their profile. And that speaks for our entire community getting that kind of spotlight put on them for what makes us all special. Now, a little bit about 502 Film. So we knew in 2021, March of 2021, that this incentive was going to be coming in January of 2022. It was going to be moving from our incredible cabinet for arts, heritage, and tourism over to our cabinet for economic development. And we also knew that there was going to be an uptick in productions, and there was going to need to be an organization or an entity that could be there on the front lines, that could be there to answer the phone, to also go out there and to do marketing pushes to make sure that the industry knew that they had somebody here, boots on the ground, that was not a government organization, that was not charging anything pay to play, I wanted to be here strictly to help connect productions that were looking at our community, connect them to the incentive program that we have, and then connect them to our crew and vendors. Because the easiest way to get money into our community is to make it easy for those productions to spend their money in our community. So if we tell them where and we tell them how, and it's plug and play, we noticed that that was a much easier process for them, and they were starting to spend more dollars here. Now, we speak to about 80 to 90% of interested productions before they incentivize. Now, we give them the details, then they go and they get incentivized, and then they come back to us, and that's where we plug them in with our local crew base, with our vendors that are here, and then they can maximize those spends in the community. Now, we're very thrilled that in this last year, we were able to share with Metro Louisville, as well as Louisville Tourism, the amount of room nights, the amount of dollars, and the amount of crew that we were helping to employ, and dollars we were connecting these productions to with the city. And so we were very honored that Louisville Tourism took a chance on us and became partners with us. So 502 Film is the official film partner of Louisville Tourism. And then just last month, we signed a contract with Metro Louisville to be the official film agency partner for Metro Louisville. And that means that we are the point organization who goes out there and represents our community so that we can attract those productions here. And we're very, very proud of that honor to represent our city in an official capacity and all of you as well. So what else do we do? We get out there and we pound the pavement to make sure that not only when those phone calls come in that we answer them, but we go out and actively recruit productions to come here. And we do that, for instance, my fantastic assistant and I, we take off next week and we're going to Las Vegas to the American film market. That is the largest film market in the United States. That's not only where people come with their finished film trying to sell them, it's where producers go trying to look for a future location for their film. So they're shopping incentives. And by and large, when a majority of productions come to us and they're right within that budget sweet spot, we find that when they crunch the numbers, Kentucky is really the place to be. And specifically, the reason I'm so proud of the 502 and of the Louisville area is this is where a majority of our vendors and majority of our crew live. And so it's very easy to go sing the praises of our fantastic city out there on the road. Additionally, we host a pretty banging Sundance party, but we call it a reception because receptions are where business is done. So instead of the Sundance party, so the Sundance reception, as you can see, my fantastic colleague Gil Holland, we've been doing this together with a few other individuals that have been part of this group for over 10 years now. And something pretty fun, I put a little note here, is that this past year, out of our Sundance party, we had a $5 million, $3 million, and then next month a $17 million film that came out of this reception. So when people think, well, why would you go to a film festival and throw a party? Well, actually, there's a great reason for it. It's a wonderful time to network in a casual environment where everybody's having a great time. Everybody is related to the film industry there somehow, and even if they're not going to shoot a film immediately, they know somebody who is. So it's a great place to be able to get word of mouth out there. Additionally, we went to the Toronto Film Festival to support when Ethan Hawke's film Wildcat premiered there, and we were able to do some more connecting there as well. Now, one other thing that we do is we do workforce development, because with all of this growth of the film industry and more films coming here, and then with that enhanced incentive of 35%, we need to make sure that we have crew ready to work. So 502 Film has been putting on workforce development training for the last 2.5 years. We have trained over 500 individuals at the entry level to be able to come into the film world. Roughly 60% of those individuals are working full-time in the film industry, and they represent 85% of the Jefferson County zip codes. And the reason that's important is because if you are building an industry, you need to do it equitably, and you need to do it with the entire city in mind. So we make sure every time we host a training or any time we put something out there that we track the zip codes. Because as lovely as it is to attract the Highlands to our training, we need the South End, we need the West End, we need the entire tapestry of this beautiful city represented in our training. Now, there are two little projects that have attracted a lot of attention over this last year or so. The first one being the Louisville Gardens project, which is an incredible development. As it is the case for many Louisvillians, we all tend to have some sort of connection or some sort of story that says, oh hey, like for instance, I went to my first concert, it was Duran Duran, and I was 6 years old at the Louisville Gardens. I then went to a Nine Inch Nails concert there when I was 15 alone, but we're not going to talk about that one. But we all have some sort of tie to that beautiful building. And so I'll show you in the next slide, you can see some of the renderings of what they're planning for that space. Because that is going to be our first large-scale soundstage and studio development for the city. And I think it's really going to be that beautiful jewel in the crown of what we're all building here within the film community. Additionally, you'll see a little bit more, I'll dive into our visit when we were on the quest to be the future home of the Sundance Film Festival. So here are some images of the Louisville Gardens, and the reason I love it is that they want to take the original facade back to its initial armory facade, which I just think is a beautiful throwback to the past here in our community. Inside there will be 4 sound stages. There's a black box theater, there's room for offices within, educational areas, as well as a backlot area. It truly is a space that will serve the entire community, because music will be able to be recorded there. There will be the opportunity for animation to be there, as well as short and long form film. So it really is an incredible development, and that is currently looking as though it would be finished around the end of 2026. So what seemed like it was far, far away about a year and a half ago, you know, as we were talking about, 6 months will be here before we know it. So will a year and a half, you know, so time moves quickly. We're very excited about this development for our entire community. Now, something that I had the absolute honor to work on, I was able to project manage our quest to attract the Sundance Film Festival here. Again, thrilled to work on that with Gil and a lot of fantastic community members. And what was very special about this is, you know, we talk a lot about collaboration, and we talk about the joy of working with people that are from different industries. But never in my professional life have I worked on something as meaningful as this quest to attract this festival here. So I know there are a lot of people that come up to me and they say, oh gosh, I'm so sorry that we didn't get the Sundance Film Festival. And it's like, well, thank you, yes, I mean, that would have been lovely. But being labeled a finalist for the Sundance Film Festival does a few things for us. It puts us on the map into a space and place that we would not have been in 10 years ago. It gives us that feather in the cap that we know that we're headed in the right direction. That not only do we have an incredible arts and cultural community here, but we have a burgeoning film industry and film economy that is enough to attract the likes of this $150 million a year GDP impacting film festival. We are in the big leagues now. And while many people might say, oh, it's a shame that they're not here, there is still potential for partnership in the future with this organization. We have now been put on the map for people that might not otherwise have seen us when we're out there at the American Film Market or putting ads in the Variety magazine. We have a different level of street cred now. Sundance has been here. They continue conversations with all of us. And now all of Team Louisville is behind Team Cincy, because a win for Cincy would then obviously be a win for us as well. So we really had an incredible time in which a committee of 60, roughly 60 individuals came together from educational, cultural, religious, sustainability, you know, the magnificence and the magnitude of the reach of the people that were in those rooms coming together to share what their areas of concern were, what they wanted to put forward, how they wanted to represent our community, and how every person's voice was heard. And also, I have much respect and much love for our mayor, but to be able to truly watch him in action as he was courting this film festival. My respect for him was already off the charts. Well, we've added an additional part to go even further than that. We are so well represented by our mayor. We are so represented by our different organizations and entities in Metro government and Louisville tourism and different nonprofits. So it was really a time for me to see what our community can do when we work together for the betterment of our city. So I am just sharing a few little images here. It was fantastic. We got the electric bus out. We wrapped it with the Sundance logo. I know many people commented the night before. They're like, okay, I see signs all over downtown. What's happening? I'm like, it's happening. So it was beautiful how the Kentucky Center got lit up. It was especially incredible. We went to several different venues that were potential venues, and we rolled the intro for the Sundance Film Festival so they could see it on our screens. And as somebody who has attended the festival 10 times over the last 20 years, watching this intro play in the Baumhard, play in the Speed, play at the Ali Center, it was incredibly impactful to not only see how our city rose to the occasion in all of these venues and in all of these ways, but also just to see a little touch of Sundance up on those screens. Very, very special. And having the governor get behind our push was incredibly special as well. So without any knowledge of how long I've just been speaking to you, I'm going to get close to wrapping this up. But a common question that I have from individuals is, well, how do I get involved? Like, this is fun, this is exciting. Where is there room at the table for me? So I have a couple different ways that I would love to encourage you all to get involved. First is that we have a vendor database. And you might say to yourself, well, how could my company be involved in film? For those that choose to stay around and watch the end credits of a film, you know, many people might clip off, or when we're watching it streaming now, it's like, would you like to move on to the next thing? It's like, no, look at those hundreds of names that made this possible. I make everybody like, you will sit in these seats until the next credit is shown. So when those credits go up, what you might not realize is there are electricians, there are lawyers, there are so many different industries that play a part in this tapestry of the film industry, and we need you. So 502 Film has a database not only for our crew, but for our local vendors. Do you have Airbnbs that you want filmmakers to stay in? Do you have restaurants that provide catering that you would like to be able to connect with the film industry? There are many different ways that you and your companies can play a part. Do you have a paint business? We would love to be able to connect you to our local set decorators so they can be going to your business to spend their dollars. We really want to be able to integrate you all into this economy as well. So that's the first way, is on our vendor database. Second is locations. Do you have a home, a business, a field, a farm? Do you have a space that you think would be great for use in a film? You can make money off of films. They pay great location rates to be able to come in and utilize your space. And then the fun thing is that you can look back for years to come and see your home in these movies that are out there, often on streaming services. And the last is production investment and donation. And I share this with all of you all because what 502 Film is looking to do in 2025 is we have started off for these first 3 years building our foundation in terms of attracting productions here and making sure that we're helping to build the workforce of crew. But what we're looking to do for 2025 is now add an additional layer, which is to support our local creative community, those that want to be directors and screenwriters from right here within our community. They deserve to be incubated here. They deserve to have their funds come from within our community so that they can shoot their films here. It's not just about crew and people that work in camera department or in set design or as makeup artists. It's not just about crew. Now it's also about starting to celebrate the storytellers and the actual filmmakers that live here and call Louisville home. So we are starting an incubation process in 2025, and one of those things that we're planning on doing is similar to Shark Tank. So we will have roughly 4 to 8 projects that are from here from the Louisville area that our board and film advisory group will review to make sure that these are legitimate productions, and they will be presenting to a group of individuals and potential investors and donors so that you all as locals can become part of the film industry as well. So if any of these 3 areas are of interest to you in terms of being able to get yourself into the film industry, I encourage you, please reach out to me. Obviously, we're going to have a Q&A session here so we can dive into any additional questions that you might have. But above and beyond that, if you have any interest in getting involved in these ways, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. We would love to integrate you into our film community as well. So I thank you all again for the opportunity of coming to speak with all of you, and I thank you so much for inviting me to this lovely luncheon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susie. If you'll stay right there.
You're right here.
And if there's any Rotarians who have any questions for our speaker, if you will please line up behind me at this microphone.
We have maybe, well, thank you, Jolene. Didn't realize, now I'm hearing the feedback. So if you are a Rotarian and you have a question, please line up behind me, and then you stay right where you are.
I'll be right here.
Come on down. Bringing their steps in.
Hi, Ann Monell from the Legacy Foundation of Kentuckiana. And one of the things that was really interesting from the Sundance experience was that you all had reached out and asked the philanthropic, the foundation community to express our support. And we were really happy to sign off on that. And very grateful that we were invited to the party. But I'm wondering, from that process, were there any particular deficiencies that that is something that we could work on, that if not Sundance, maybe some other large creative experience that we could as a community to successfully get it next time?
Well, I think we did ask for a post-mortem. We have not gotten that quite yet. I don't know that I would actually be able to read that without licking my wounds just a little bit. Maybe I need just a little bit more healing time before you come. It's like after a breakup. Somebody's like, you want the list of why I broke up with you? No, not yet. Thank you. But quite honestly, from my perspective, I think that we have an incredible burgeoning arts and cultural scene here. Jessica Kincaid, who's in the Office of Arts and Creative Industries within Metro Government, it's fantastic that she has this office, that this office is growing, but I think ultimately we as a community need to start seeing not only the economic impact of arts, but also kind of the cultural connectivity that we can receive from our arts community. And as much as I think we were able to go out and put that dog and pony show out for Sundance, quite honestly, when you look at some of the other cities, they have these multi-million-dollar arts festivals that are already in place. And while we have fantastic festivals, and we have St. James Art Fair, and we have Louder Than Life, I think we really need to look at, as a community, what we can do to create some pillars throughout the year that really hearken on what we have here within the community. If I were to see any deficiency personally, that would be it, but quite honestly, under Mayor Greenberg and under the Metro Louisville government, having an Office of Arts and Creative Industries that's actually starting to measure the economic impact of arts and culture is incredibly important. So I think we're at a very great starting point. Maybe if this were in 2 years from now, it would have been a different conversation. But again, the fact that nearly 100 cities applied, and when 5 were chosen, 5 new cities were chosen, we were one of them, I think we really do need to take a moment and pat ourselves on the back for that versus start looking in the mirror and plucking apart what we do wrong. I think it's always great to look and learn from those opportunities, but at the same time, I think we also need to take a beat and be proud of ourselves too.
I'm Nick Garner of the MITRE Corporation. This is all very exciting. I'm a huge film buff myself. I was hoping that you would speak a little bit to the possibility of a homegrown Louisville Film Festival, as you were already, but then I was also curious if you had a sense of what the breakdown is between the companies that are, or between the spend at the 30%, which is out-of-state dollars, right, versus the 35%, and like what the trend line is for that, because obviously the out-of-state stuff is, or the in-state stuff is more important.
So I'll answer the second part first. So about that film tax incentive, that 30% is only for in-state spends. So we do not incentivize any spends out of state. The only time that we are incentivizing something that's out of state is we also incentivize crew that comes here to work. And you might say, wait, why are we incentivizing out of state crew at 30%? When we talk about building an industry sustainably, the way that we do that is we entice experienced keys within the crew to come here because do you know what they do? They level up our local crew. So for instance, when Ethan came in town and he brought this $11 million film, $10 or $11 million film, he also brought keys in, Academy Award nominee keys. People here learned how to work underneath them, how to expect things to be done, how to treat their crew, and now those people are keys on the $4 to $6 million films. So it's actually a benefit to our state that we incentivize, at least at this juncture, out-of-state crew that comes here to work only while they are boots on the ground in this state. 30% also hits all local vendors, so that incentivizes people that are here that might have a box truck. Well, why don't you also go buy a camera? Because when they rent the camera from you, they're incentivized to rent from you, and the money will go into your business versus it coming from Los Angeles and they're paying a price where they don't get the 30%. When it comes to the 35%, that is only for people that call Kentucky home, that are crew. And I would say it really depends. When we're in the $2 to $4 million range on a production, we are at about 80 or 90% local crew. Oftentimes they might just bring in their director, their producer, maybe their assistant director, and then they hire the rest local. So it's pretty exciting to go to one of those sets and you're like, everybody's here. it's pretty fun. So we can run about $2 to $4 million films at the same time and crew entirely locally. And then when we pop up and we have, for instance, we're about to have a $17 million film going at the same time as a $2 million film. That $2 million will be almost entirely a local crew. That $17 million will be more at the 60-70% local crew. And then they will again bring in some out-of-state keys. Again, everybody will level up from that. When it comes to a film festival being here, that is yet to be seen. We will see, we already have Flyover Film Festival, which still takes place in the summer at the Speed Cinema, which is fantastic. And I know several of us have mentioned tossing around the idea of a film festival. But quite honestly, with Sundance, my perspective is if you have a plug-and-play film festival that's looking to bring in $115 to $150 million a year GDP, that's a fantastic win. It's a different thing to create something from the ground up, so that takes a little bit more conversation before we can move forward with that. Thank you. Well, hello, Representative.
Well, hello, Ms. Soozie.
Hi.
Barbara Sexton-Smith. And Soozie, you mentioned a little bit ago the importance of having major arts events throughout the year. So would you talk a little bit about what you think was the impact of Louisville losing the longest running corporate sponsorship of a major arts event, that being the Humana Festival of New American Plays, which drew people from all over the planet every year? What was the impact of that?
Are we still recording? Well, let me get my happy spin on things. I'm like, there's light in this somewhere. Quite honestly, I think that the loss of the Humana Festival was a huge loss for all of us. I think it shows a misprioritization of where some focus needs to be within our community. I'm thankful for this Sundance conversation because what it did on both a local and state level is it showed state senators, representatives, legislators. It showed everybody that there is money in art because unfortunately sometimes the way that you get business and you get politicians interested in something is by showing that there is a financial benefit. And sometimes I think we need to look at that and say, yes, there's a financial benefit, but there is also a cultural benefit. And when there is culture, there is vibrancy, there is health, there is connectivity within a community, and that is a lifeblood as much as money is. So I think as we can consider what to grow or what to do in the future, it needs to be about connectivity, about equity, about creating something that creates a stronger community from the north to south, east to west, across all of Jefferson and Metro. And so I think that, yes, it was hugely detrimental to lose that, the festival. And I think that if we continue to lose more pillars of the creative community like that, it's only to the greater detriment of our city. So I think all of us looking at ways that we can grow that cultural side and grow the arts within our community is a fantastic place to start and a wonderful lesson to learn from the loss of the quest for Sundance.
Thank you, Soozie, for coming home. every part of the world with you and also letting more of the world know about Louisville. So thank you very much, and thank you for sharing your time with us again. So next week, our speaker will be Angela Billings. Angela is the author of Command the Crisis. Angela will present her signature talk, which is called Under Attack, where she will walk us through crises she's experienced and provide her compelling take on how businesses can and should step into your crises. You need to RSVP by Monday at noon as usual, or of course you can use the QR code before you leave today. Guests, I am reminding you to please go over to the What is Rotary table to meet with Jay Mallory for just a few minutes. And I want to say happy Halloween to everybody, and Rotarians, please enjoy the rest of your week. We are